Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Carlos Brando. Thank you so much for having us again today. And please feel free to join us in today's show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, with over 45 years of experience working with immigrants and helping all kind of cases of immigration. And we have her today for free. She's not charging for these questions that you are going to ask today. She has offices in 9 cities of the United States, in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Memphis, Minneapolis, Cleveland, New York, Nashville, Raleigh, North Carolina, and the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the attorney Margaret W. Wong. And well, if you have any questions related to immigration, please don't feel bad that you are going to ask a question. Just send your question, and Ms. Wong is going to answer your question as much as we can answer over Facebook. But thank you so much for joining us, and let's welcome the attorney Margaret W. Wong. How are you doing today, Ms. Wong?
I'm very good, and thank you.
Thank you so much for having us today. I know your coffee is about to get there, so don't worry about it. I love coffee, and I love my cup of coffee, which is a Margaret W. Wong's office coffee, which is awesome. I always remember the coffee up there in Cleveland. It's second floor, third floor. It's awesome that you can have all the coffee you want all day long. So, Ms. Wong, what is the most important thing that we can talk about today in the immigration world in the United States of America?
More and more people, they have snuck in or they have been coming in. So, and you have 1 year to file that asylum. And if and asylum is a serious thing, so don't just file and I need to get a job here, I have children I need to support. On the other hand, it's getting more and more difficult to be granted either refugee status or asylum status, because a lot of people just said, oh, I'm in America, we're also seeing quite a few, the former Soviet Union, Georgians, Uzbekistans, they're coming over even on tourist visas and wanted to file for asylum because it's just a different system. So make sure you really give a good narrative, especially after page 5. They ask, were you ever detained? If you were detained, don't be ashamed by it, right? If you are charged, so for example, in China, if they don't like us, they don't say, oh, we just don't like you. They'll say, oh, we have corruption, we have this. So say it. I was jailed for 3 years because my government charged me with corruption, but I was not charged. But anytime if you have criminal records in home country or set in jail, put it down. Don't assume because Interpol don't have it, then America don't know, because America knows, because it's Homeland Security. So these are little things that when you file your asylum paperwork, you should also file within a year. And I see so many cases. I came on January 1st of 2019. So your deadline is December 31st or January 1st of 2020. Now you come in and say, oh yeah, but I didn't come to America till March 1st of 2019. And now I can file in February. Don't lie about stupid stuff like that. Because then once they catch up on a lie, the whole case became adverse credibility or frivolous. It's just not worth it. Tell them you came on January 1st of 2019, but you missed the filing deadline by 2 or 3 months, by 1 year, because post-traumatic stress. I was so stressed. I had a miscarriage because I have a lot of women who were abused by their ex-spouses and they had a miscarriage. Miscarriage is depressive. Tell them I miscarried, so I was very depressed, so I couldn't get my life together. Or even say I didn't have any money. I didn't know I'm supposed to do it. It's not good enough, but it's better than nothing. So tell them why you didn't file within a year. Why didn't you go to school? So instead of changing, I see so many. Sometimes you laugh over the silly things that people do. I also see a lot of cases where they have in absentia. So once they come to America, they pay a 5,000 bond, 10,000 bond, and now they don't go to court because rumor is that once you go to court, they keep your money. They also deport you. They don't deport you. It's, if you go to court, they don't deport you. But if you don't go to court, you have in absentia. So now when we want to open in absentia, now we have to explain why didn't we go to court? Did you know you're supposed to go to court? Were you notified by the court? Did you have a lawyer who didn't tell you? But if they didn't, lawyers normally do tell their clients. Why didn't you change your phone number? Or why didn't you tell the court you moved? So these are things on motion to reopen. There's a lot of nuances in the practice of immigration law. So don't give up. If you have in absentia, try to do a motion to reopen. Still, Nitz Chavez is good law, but it's just, especially on the Seventh Circuit, on the Fifth Circuit, there's some changes. So instead of just using Nitz Chavez, like, oh, no date and time on NTA, also come up with other equities. What did you do in the meantime? Why didn't you at least even call a lawyer? If you don't like the lawyer's advice, why didn't you go to a second lawyer? So instead of saying, oh, the lawyer did wrong, maybe say, this lawyer charged me so much money, I don't have it. That's good. At least we tell them something that's credible, non-frivolous, feasible, probable, then we can still win some of these cases.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And this is a very interesting answer about this question and the situation that we're having right now in the United States with the immigration atmosphere or environment. So thank you so much for giving us an answer right on time for everybody who has any questions in immigration field. So this person here says, hi, you both are looking charming today. Thank you so much. Okay. This next question here is, hi, I got arrested because my partner called the police on me. I am applying for asylum and I'm waiting on my court date for this domestic violence case. My question is, how could this affect my asylum case?
Okay, depends on I don't know where state or city you are. If you can tell me, they'll help. Depends also if they charge. You always need to look at the charging document. Like, for example, I was driving, I was drinking. So they may charge you with open bottle. They may charge you with DUI. They may charge you with your OVI. Then it's not good. But the nice thing about open bottle, OVI, or DUI is not a CIMT. It's not a crime of moral turpitude. But domestic violence is a crime of moral turpitude. I don't know what country you're from. A lot of Latino people, they just, because in their countries, they don't even have a 911 number. Now in America, they call, sometimes a neighbor's call, sometimes a partner's call. Tell them, try not to call. And you should never, in America, it's a very quiet country. You know how you live in Atlanta, okay, Venezuela, okay, good job. So I know sometimes life is difficult from Venezuela and Atlanta, and the pressure is there. The driving is horrible, traffic is bad. In America, it's quiet. Don't raise your voice. Latino culture, Chinese culture, we yell, we scream, we use our hands, we're like, don't do that, all right? So just stop. So, but for now, make sure you may need a good lawyer. You should get a good lawyer. Reduce the charges. I'm pretty sure probably it's just a misdemeanor domestic violence. And the fact that you're out of jail means that it's good. They're not giving you a high bond. Get yourself a good lawyer and reduce it and explain to the lawyer of immigration consequences. That means tell them that you are in the process of asylum. A good criminal lawyer would talk to an immigration lawyer and see what's the immigration consequences. But I don't necessarily think it's that bad. Just don't get it into domestic violence. And also you need to look at it, because if they charge you with DV, domestic violence, if at that time you were separated already from a partner, you were not living together, it should not be domestic. Domestic violence means that we're living as a household. So for example, I'm beating up my mother, that's elderly abuse, that's also domestic because we live together. I'm beating up my children, that's domestic because we live together. But if I have an ex-husband, really divorced, and we're not living together, it cannot be domestic violence, all right? Then if she also, or your partner was beating you up, then you could also maybe get a temporary restraining order, because if she keep harassing you and bothering you. We live together, not married. Okay, that is a partnership. So this is domestic. So look at the charging documents, talk to the lawyer and see what happened. Because if nothing happened, that would, if you didn't fight her, she didn't fight you. So a good lawyer would know how to do it. And but you need to stop. If the fighting goes on, you need to separate. Maybe have a temporary protective order to get out of it. Simple battery is good. They didn't even charge it domestic. It's very good. The simple battery is not good because battery, it's violence. A battery is a form I'm beating you, and it's not attempted simple battery, because attempted means I actually not beat you, but it's a threat of trying to beat you up. So maybe you can reduce it to disorderly conduct or something, but good is not domestic, because domestic violence in America is not good.
Okay, thank you so
It's
much.
not that bad, right?
Yeah.
It is. It's sort of bad in immigration, but in the American world, simple battery is not bad.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your answer. Don't forget that you can call the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. There is a next question here. My father is 84. He's in a bad health condition. He feels that he's gonna die soon. However, we filed for his green card 2 years ago. If he lives back to his country, would all the progress be lost for his green card? We are hopeful that he's gonna make it through all these health
Okay,
issues.
what I would do, I presume he already got his green card. Instead of filing for his green card, did he get it yet? If he already got it, you need to do a re-entry permit. He can go home for once every 2 years. So it's a 2-year re-entry permit. As long as he comes back one time within the 2 years, he can always file for another re-entry permit. That's one thing I can do. But your question is, we filed for green card, so I presume you didn't get it yet. He could leave. So what you need to do is file for the I-131, which is the advanced parole. So if you didn't get the green card, you file for parole. If you got the green card, you file for reentry permit. A parole allows you to leave and come back. It's normally good for 1 year. And sometimes when you file it together with a work permit, sometimes once in a while to give you 2 years, but normally it's 2-year work permit, C9, 1 year parole. So this is what I would do. And you know what? He's 84. Whatever he wants to do, let him do it, because I'm also old and my children thinks, oh, mom, I want you to do this. Mom, dad would have wanted to do. He is 84. Listen to him. Don't just control. I mean, I know because I'm older, my whole family tries to tell me what to do, and we all have the same problem. So if he wants to, and also it's good for him to maybe go back. But when you book the airline ticket, if you book coach, put him on the first line, because the first line, if you're old, if you're disabled, if you're sick, they always give you the first line. So there's nobody in front of you and it's right next to the bathroom. So I would try that. But I do encourage, if he wants to go home and maybe see his family, see his doctor, let him do what he wants. Okay.
Okay, thank you so
And
much.
tell him I say hello. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for this advice, Ms. Wong, because it's a situation that maybe we don't understand, but as people are getting older, they just want to go back home. That's why, Ms. Wong, maybe immigration is not very concerned about elderly people coming to the United States to live in the United States, because people are attached to their countries when they go to certain age. But for young people, they are concerned because you know we have plans, but at some point, some people don't have any other plans, but just living quietly and staying home, just staying active, doing something. So is something that we hope you can solve. If you need more information, just call the office 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. And you're very young, Miss Wong, so don't worry about it. Okay, my L1A got declined after Noid because in the last 3 years I was overseas. Only for 260 days due to COVID, I was stuck in the United States. And the memorandum is 1 year out, 3 year to be in foreign country. But I am founder to my company from 2005.
205.
All tax receipts, salary slips, and is there any judgment where such points have been considered and grace has been given? If not, what should I be? What should be my next step?
Okay, I feel very bad when you say you were overseas for only 260 days. So basically, I think you see, I always advise my people whenever you file L1A, number one is difficult because, and you are Mr. Global Jane, that means you're probably from India. L1A from China and India are the two hardest countries because that's the only way for us to get a quick green card aside from EB5. So a lot of us, we want to do L1A and then we hire 4 or 5 people in America. Now we do EB1. So you get a green card technically in 1.5 years if you win the L1A. Now, on the other hand, though, the 1 year, the law is 1 year. So you could actually be there for 2 months, come back for 3 months, be there for 3 months, as long as the residence is there. So you own this business in 2005. So basically, and it's denied already, you can always file a new one. But in the meantime, I presume in America, you did not extend, I don't know if you're on a tourist visa or student visa, which means that you're out of status. Unless you're a student, you maintain the student visa, then you can file a new one, but then you don't have 1 out of 3. So you may want to go back, establish the 1 out of 3 and see what's the gross, but who wants to go back because then you may not be able to come back. So it depends on, the most important thing is what status do we have now? If we're in status, then you may change it to a F1, a student visa. L1 is itself difficult, no regret. I always tell people, no explanation, no complaints, all right? Something is denied, I just need to fix it instead of say, oh, I could have, should have, would have. Depends. If you're already out of status, you're here on a tourist visa, which means that you're probably already out of status. And I'm really sorry about that because tourist visa only go to 6 months. Another way we could have done it is extend the tourist visa until the L1 is approved. Then you're technically not out of status because you couldn't work anyway, or change it to a student visa and then do the L1, but I presume that was not done. So technically we're out of status. If you go back, you cannot come back in 3 or 10 years. If you're stuck here, that's another problem. L1 itself is very difficult because of India and China. These are, and now it's of course Russia. In the olden days, Russian L1 is not that difficult because economically they were strong, but now it's also the same problem.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your answer. And the next question is going to be from SEHR. But before, I want to remind that everybody can call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Attorney Margaret W. Wong, with over 45 years of experience working for immigrants in the United States of America. 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ma'am, my passport is in Home Office of England for visa process, and I have to visit U.S. Embassy for my case of denied entry to the United States. Can I visit the U.S. Embassy with my old passport that I have U.S. visa sticker?
I presume your old passport had expired because if not, you won't need a new passport unless you lost your old passport, got a new passport, and find your old passport. I would still get the British passport after you get it back from Home Office of England. I would not go with that old passport. I presume you're also a third country national, which means I immigrated to England from another country. No matter how you're Brit, I'm an American citizen. Ultimately, when it comes to American embassies, they still treat us as third country nationals. They just don't, because they feel that we're only coming here as a stepping stone, like for Indians who go to Canada, we want their e-visa, the TN visa. So we sit there for 3 years, we became a citizen. Now we come to America on their visas, you know? So I would not do that. I would still wait for the old passport. Was damaged and I got new. Okay, so I will still wait for the old passport, and thank you for your question. I mean, I will wait for the new passport and bring together for both. You need to show your old visa stamp. In the meantime, show them all the stamps. The more you have traveled, try to go to Hong Kong, to go to Singapore, Europe, anywhere you can go without a visa, the more the stamp from another country, the easier it is to get your new US visa stamp.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your answer. Don't forget that the attorney Margaret W. Wong has over 45 years of experience and she has offices in 9 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one 216 279 3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call. Ms. Wong, the next question is um, I have a 5 years ban to the United States, and as of today, it's going to be my fourth year. Let's say I want to go to Cancun, Mexico on Thanksgiving this year, and most flights are from Asia. I asked this question last week, Ms. Wong. So apparently, this person only needs the transit visa. Is that something that
Yeah.
this person can
Right.
get?
You are talking, I remember your question. You're talking about getting a C visa. A C visa, there are two types of C visa. One is a crewman, one is a transit. I don't recommend that because after you come with a transit, then what? Because transit visa doesn't give you a work permit. It also gives you only a few days. It's not worth it. I will wait for the 5 years, apply for a new visa, file for the 212, and on the form, they normally say, give you a reason for deny. If they deny because you have a 5 year ban, now you file the 212. If they deny because of 214B, you refile with the DS-160 and apply for a new visa and see how they deny. When you apply for the new visa, explain you never went anywhere. I mean, you go somewhere, but never back to America, and why do you need to come back and stuff like that. And better yet, if you have, I don't know what country you're from, if you're from a country that E visa possibilities, H visa and stuff like that, then it doesn't hurt to apply something aside from a tourist visa, then it makes it easier for approval because you will need a 212 even after 5 years.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And this person is saying thank you so much as well. Well, Jesus Barron is saying, I am going to need your help. Um, I have a removal order and I have a court hearing coming in 2 months. So, how should I get prepared for this court? And if, in the case that I could not pay an attorney, what would be the worst case scenario?
You may want to check out this case. If you want to give us an A number, I'll check it right away for you. Because if you already have a removal order, that means you got an NTA after April of 97. And also removal order, which means you already have final order of removal, deportation, which means that you shouldn't be going to the next court. Now, it could be you just have a report like an OSUP, a self-report. That's okay. Right now, Biden is not deporting. So go in there, with equity. But you probably check the address. It could be just an ICE address. That's an OSUP. That means you have to report every year. If they're willing to give you the 220B, or you already have a 220B, you can actually get a work permit, which is a C18 work permit for 1 year. So it's not necessarily bad, but I don't think you have to report to court. Because if you already have a final order of removal, you shouldn't be going to court. It's stupid because you already have a deportation order. So why go back to court? So check your address. I think it's just ICE report.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. We have a next question. Edward is asking, I am from Panama and I entered on a B2 visitor visa from Panama. I don't want to go back there. So I'm thinking to stay illegally. What is the worst case that I could go through in this if I overstay?
Number one, since you came legally, the fact that you do not do an extension and plan to stay illegally, and immigration normally don't come to your house. I mean, they won't come to your house and pick you up. But my position is today's America is not like the days when I came, which is 40, 50 years ago. Today's America, once you became undocumented, life is difficult. I would not become undocumented. I know life is hard. So you need to remember why you want to come to America. What's the purpose? You can either file asylum, but asylum from Panama is also a little bit of a problem because Panama is a tax haven for the rich. And a lot of British people go there because it's easier to get in. So also think about what's your highest level of education. If you have a bachelor's degree, like a 4-year bachelor, even a 3-year bachelor, a 5-year bachelor, you could actually do a H-1B come February. I would even maybe do an extension of a tourist visa or change it to a student visa, which would take 13 months, so you can really save some money. You don't have to pay tuition. Try not to make yourself illegal. That's the old law. In the olden days, you're right, we don't file tax return, we come illegally, we think nobody knows us. Those were the old days. Now the new days in the Homeland Security era is do something, but try not to make yourself illegal.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And this other question is, hi, I was in a nightclub. There was a shooter. I was there. I didn't get hurt, but I could have been
Killed.
killed.
Would that be a
Would
good
this be a
case? Yeah.
good case? I
Yes.
helped the police with the
You
investigation.
need normally the club owner or the bouncers in the club, they make a police report. Your name probably is not there. You could be a witness. Witness cannot do a U visa, so you need to make your own report. They may ask you, "What took you another 3 weeks to come make a report?" You need to make your own police report. Go to the nearest police station and tell them if you were hurt and did you see a gun, because to do a U visa, there should be sort of some blood and some violence involved. Oh, good, you helped the police to giving information. So check the police instance report to see if you were a witness or a victim. So you may want to report yourself and say you're the victim, because normally the victim is the bar owner and the bouncers or whoever the guy wants to shoot. That's why America really should not have guns, maybe go see victim services and tell them how you're traumatized by this and you have helped the police. Helping the police is more witness. There's no visa. There's really basically 3 visa, STU. U is a victim of crime, but you have to be the direct victim, not an indirect victim. Number 2, indirect victim have its own laws, but in this case, you need to be a direct. Another visa is T visa. Is a trans. Is a how do you call it? A trans. Like I'm hiring prostitute. I'm inviting prostitutes to come to America. I'm using them to make money. So, for example, I'm the mama, right, of 10 prostitutes. So these 10 girls could apply for T visa because I'm transporting. I'm an illegal transporter. I'm making $40 each shot for the girls, and I pay them $5, or I put drugs in their body and I abuse them. That's a T visa. RS. You also have an S visa, which is a snitch visa. That means I help police to crack a big drug ring. That's a very dangerous visa. T visa, you don't need law enforcement signature. S visa, you should get law enforcement signature. U visa, you absolutely have to have it. So in this case, if you want to do the U visa, I would report yourself as a victim and how were you hurt. And you're right, even though you were not hurt, was the intent of that person to shoot you or shoot your neighbor. We actually won a case when the shooter shot my client, but the real intent of the shooter is to shoot my sister. When they come to the house, I was home, the sister was not home. Actually, I lost the case twice. I won it after the third time. It's because I was not the direct victim, or they claim I'm not the direct victim. Because that case already went to court, and he was very frank. He said, it's just by mistake I shot him, but we won at the end. It's just a stupid case. I mean, I don't think we should have lost the first 2 times, but we won the 3rd time. So you need to come up with something. Depends on how far away was the shooting. I mean, how many guns, how many gunmen, what happened, and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Our time is up for today. We only have 1 minute remaining for today's show. I don't know if you want to share a thought today for all the people that are joining us in this show.
Yeah, things are happening for people like us who came to America undocumented after May of 2022. I'm seeing hearing notices. I just got one this morning. They came in July 1st. The hearing is already scheduled in Cleveland, which is more inland, in November. So Biden already said anybody who came to America after May of 2022, they want to finish the case fast. You either win the case or you don't win the case. So make sure you look at your hearing notice. Make sure you do go to court and not give up. All right. Normally, it's easier for unaccompanied minor, younger children under 18, under 21 to win asylum cases than older people, but you still need a good narrative. You couldn't just go in there and say, oh, I want to look for my father, I want to look for my mother and stuff like that. That's not good.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. I'll see you next week. On Wednesday, we're going to have our show. So thank you so much for having us one more time. And please don't forget that the attorney Margaret W. Wong is just one call away from you. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to call 216-279-3984, offices in 9 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Next time, we're going to have more time for your questions. So don't forget to join us at 12:30 Eastern Time of the United States. See you next time. Take care, and thank you so much for joining us today.